It was 2:30 a.m. again. I sat up in bed, sighed and shuffled to the bathroom, my legs unsteady, my eyes barely open. Third time that night. And let me tell you, waking up this often, it wears you down. I'd start my mornings exhausted before the day even began, but then I discovered something that changed everything. Before I share these life-changing tips, if you want more proven advice on aging better, not just older, hit subscribe and join this journey. Now let's get into it. Maybe you've been there too. Lying in bed, hoping, just hoping you'll make it through the night without another trip to the bathroom. But sure enough, an hour later, your eyes snap open. That familiar pressure, that frustration. You try to ignore it, but it's no use. So you sigh, push back the covers, and shuffle to the bathroom, wondering why this keeps happening. And the worst part, it's not just the interrupted sleep. The next day you feel it, drained, sluggish, maybe even a little forgetful. You try to shake off the exhaustion, but it lingers, like a fog clouding your entire day. And deep down, a little voice whispers, "Is this just how life is now?" I know that feeling well. I used to think my body was betraying me, that no matter what I did, I was destined to spend my nights like this. And what do most people do? They just accept it. Friends, family, even doctors sometimes shrug it off and say, "That's just part of getting older." But let me tell you, that's not the whole story, and believing it is a mistake. Because here's the truth. While aging can play a role, it's not the only reason this is happening. In fact, many of us are making this problem worse without even realizing it. And once I understood what was really going on, I finally started sleeping through the night again. So if you've been struggling with this, if you're tired of dragging yourself through the day on broken sleep, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share can make all the difference. For years, I believed nighttime urination was just another thing I had to accept, another gift of aging, like stiff joints or graying hair. I thought my body had simply decided that sleep was optional. But then I learned something surprising, something that changed everything. It wasn't just about age, it was about habits. And once I made a few small changes, my nights became peaceful again. You see, your bladder isn't betraying you. It's responding to how you treat it. Every sip of water, every bite of food, every daily routine sends signals to your body. And the way you train it during the day determines how it behaves at night. The problem? Most of us unknowingly send the wrong signals. For example, I used to think drinking less water in the evening was the solution. So I stopped drinking anything after dinner, but instead of sleeping better, I woke up more often. Why? Because my body, desperate for hydration, held onto fluids all day, only to release them at night. And then there's caffeine. I used to enjoy a cup of tea in the evening, thinking it was harmless. Turns out caffeine lingers in your system for hours, irritating your bladder long after you've taken the last sip. It wasn't until I started making mindful changes, adjusting what and when I drank, how I positioned my body, even how I trained my bladder, that I finally experienced restful nights again. And here's the best part. These changes aren't complicated. They don't require medication or extreme lifestyle shifts. Just small, smart adjustments that can make all the difference. So, if you're waking up multiple times a night, feeling like your bladder has taken control, It's time to take that control back, because believe it or not, you can train your body to let you sleep through the night. And now, I'm going to show you exactly how. Solution 1. Cut fluids at the right time. I used to think the solution was simple, just drink less water. If my bladder was waking me up at night, then surely the less I drank, the less I'd have to go, right? So, I started cutting back. I'd sip only a little during the day, trying to save my bladder for the night. But instead of sleeping better, I found myself waking up even more often. At first, I couldn't understand why. Then I learned something surprising. Our bodies don't work that way. When you don't drink enough during the day, your body holds onto water, leading to fluid retention. And guess when it finally decides to release it? At night, when you're finally trying to rest. So, the real solution isn't to drink less, it's to drink right. You want to stay well hydrated during the day, so your body processes fluids efficiently. Aim to drink most of your water in the morning and afternoon, then gradually taper off in the evening. And here's the golden rule. Stop drinking fluids about 2 hours before bed. This gives your body enough time to process the water, so by the time you lie down, your bladder isn't on high alert. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What if I get thirsty? That's fine. If you truly need a sip, take one. But avoid drinking large amounts and steer clear of drinks that irritate the bladder, like caffeine, alcohol, or even certain herbal teas. Your goal is to train your body to follow a natural rhythm, so it knows that nighttime is for sleep, not for bathroom trips. Once I made this simple change, I noticed the difference almost immediately. My nighttime trips decreased, my sleep improved, and I woke up feeling refreshed. Not like I'd been running a marathon to the bathroom all night. And trust me, if this worked for me, it can work for you too. Try it tonight. Hydrate well during the day, then cut off fluids 2 hours before bed. Give it a few days and see if your body starts to adjust. You might be surprised at just how much better you sleep. Solution 2. Watch your caffeine and alcohol intake. One night I made myself a warm cup of tea before bed. I thought it would help me relax, settle my mind, and ease me into a good night's sleep. But a few hours later, I was awake again. And this time it wasn't just once. I was up multiple times, making trip after trip to the bathroom. At first I didn't connect the dots. It was just tea after all. No sugar, no heavy flavors, just a simple, calming drink. But then I learned something surprising. Many teas, especially black and green tea, contain caffeine. And caffeine is a bladder irritant. Even if you drink it hours before bed, it can linger in your system, making your bladder more sensitive and increasing your urge to go. And it's not just tea. Coffee, soda, chocolate, even decaf coffee can still contain enough caffeine to trigger those late-night trips. And then there's alcohol. I used to enjoy a small glass of wine in the evening, thinking it would help me sleep. But alcohol also irritates the bladder. Worse yet, it's a diuretic, meaning it makes your body produce more urine, practically guaranteeing a restless night. Once I made the connection, I started paying attention. I cut out caffeine after lunch, skipped that evening glass of wine, and switched my nighttime tea to something caffeine-free, like chamomile or peppermint. The result? Fewer trips to the bathroom, better sleep, and waking up actually feeling rested for once. So, if you're struggling with nighttime urination, take a look at what you're drinking. Even small amounts of caffeine or alcohol can make a big difference. Try switching to water, herbal tea, or warm milk in the evening instead. Give it a few nights and see if your bladder finally lets you rest. Solution 3. Manage salt intake. I always thought nighttime urination was just about how much I drank. But then I learned something surprising. What I ate played a role too. And the biggest culprit? Salt. One evening I treated myself to a salty snack. A handful of salted nuts and some crackers. Nothing too heavy, nothing that seemed like it would affect my sleep. But that night, I was up 4 times, shuffling back and forth to the bathroom. At first, I thought it was just bad luck. But then I remembered something my doctor once told me. Salt makes your body hold on to water during the day and then release it at night. Here's how it works. When you eat too much salt, your body retains fluid to keep things balanced. But when you finally lie down to sleep, your body shifts gears. It starts to get rid of that excess fluid, and where does it go? Straight to your bladder, waking you up when you should be resting. And it's not just the obvious salty snacks. Processed foods, canned soups, restaurant meals, these can all pack in way more sodium than you realize. Even something as innocent as a sandwich with deli meat and cheese can quietly push your salt intake through the roof. Once I made this connection, I started cutting back. I swapped out processed foods for fresh, home-cooked meals. I paid attention to labels, choosing low-sodium options whenever possible. And most importantly, I made sure to avoid salty foods in the evening. The result? Fewer nighttime trips, deeper sleep, and mornings where I actually felt rested. So, if you're struggling with waking up at night, take a look at what's on your plate. Try reducing your salt intake, especially in the hours before bed. Give it a few nights, and you just might find yourself sleeping soundly again. Solution 4. Strengthen your bladder with simple exercises. I'll never forget what my doctor told me one day after I mentioned my constant nighttime trips to the bathroom. He leaned in, smiled, and said, "Your bladder is like a muscle. Train it, and it'll hold better." That one sentence changed everything for me. See, most people think their bladder just wears out with age. But the truth, it's not just about aging, it's about training. Just like weak legs make it harder to walk, a weak bladder struggles to hold urine. The stronger your bladder and pelvic muscles, the longer you can go without feeling that urgent need to go. And the best part? Strengthening your bladder doesn't require hours in a gym or fancy equipment. Just a few simple exercises, done consistently, can make a huge difference. Here are 2 powerful exercises that help me. Kegel exercises. These are the simplest yet most effective. All you do is squeeze the muscles you'd use to stop your urine mid-flow. Hold for a few seconds, then release. Do this 10-15 times, 3 times a day, and over time, your bladder control improves dramatically. Bladder training. This one requires patience, but it's worth it. Instead of rushing to the bathroom the moment you feel the urge, try waiting just 5 extra minutes. Slowly increase this time over the course of days or weeks, and your bladder will learn to hold more, reducing those frequent nighttime awakenings. I won't lie. When I first started, I didn't think these would work, but within a few weeks I noticed a change. My urgency reduced, I could hold my bladder longer, and those nighttime wake-ups became less frequent. So, if you're tired of your bladder running your life at night, start training it back. Just a few simple exercises a day can help you reclaim your sleep and wake up feeling refreshed. Solution 5. Empty your bladder twice before bed. For the longest time, I couldn't figure it out. I'd go to the bathroom right before bed, thinking I was all set for the night. But just an hour or two later, there I was, back up again, shuffling to the bathroom in the dark. It was like my bladder had a mind of its own. Then I learned something that changed everything, something called double voiding. And once I started doing it, my nighttime trips dropped almost instantly. Here's the problem most people don't realize. Sometimes, when you go to the bathroom, your bladder doesn't fully empty. A little bit of urine stays behind, and that leftover amount can trigger another urge later in the night. That's why, even though you just went, your body still wakes you up feeling like you need to go again. The fix? It's simple. Go twice before bed. Here's how it works. Step 1. Go to the bathroom like you normally would before bed. Empty your bladder as much as you can. Step 2. Instead of heading straight to bed, take a few minutes. Brush your teeth, read a page of a book, or just sit and relax. Step 3. Then go again. Even if you don't feel like you have to, try. You'll be surprised. Your bladder often holds on to just enough urine to wake you up later. Getting rid of that extra bit can mean the difference between a full night's sleep and multiple nighttime trips. When I first tried this, I wasn't sure it would work. But after just a few nights, I noticed a huge difference. I wasn't waking up as much, and when I did sleep, it was deep and restful. So, if you're tired of getting up multiple times a night, give double voiding a try. It's a simple trick, but trust me, it might just be the one that helps you finally sleep through the night. Solution 6. Keep blood sugar in check. For years, I thought my nighttime bathroom trips were just a bladder problem. But then I learned something that completely changed my perspective. Sometimes it's actually a blood sugar problem. One evening, I had a small dessert after dinner. Nothing too crazy, just a little something sweet to end the day. But that night, I was up 4 times, making one trip after another to the bathroom. At first, I didn't connect the dots, but when it kept happening, I started to dig deeper. That's when I learned that high blood sugar can actually increase urine production, forcing your kidneys to work overtime. Here's how it works. When your blood sugar is too high, your kidneys try to remove the excess sugar by flushing it out through urine. And guess what? That means more trips to the bathroom, especially at night. If you already struggle with frequent urination, unstable blood sugar can make things even worse. So what's the solution? Keeping your blood sugar stable, especially before bed. Here are 3 simple ways to do that. Limit sugary snacks in the evening. Avoid desserts, sodas, and processed carbs a few hours before bed. A sugar spike before sleep can trigger excessive urination during the night. Balance your meals. Pair carbohydrates with protein and healthy fats. This helps slow down sugar absorption and prevents blood sugar swings. Instead of just a piece of bread, add some peanut butter. Instead of plain pasta, add some grilled chicken. Take a short walk after dinner. A simple 10-15 minute walk after your evening meal can help your body regulate blood sugar levels naturally, reducing the chances of nighttime spikes. Once I started watching my blood sugar, especially in the evening, I noticed a huge difference. My bladder wasn't working overtime, my sleep improved, and I woke up feeling refreshed instead of exhausted. So if you're struggling with frequent nighttime urination, take a look at your diet. Keeping your blood sugar in check might just be the key to getting the deep, uninterrupted sleep you've been missing. Solution 7. Elevate your legs in the evening. I remember sitting in my doctor's office, frustrated and exhausted from waking up multiple times a night. I told him I cut back on fluids, I watch my caffeine, but I'm still making too many trips to the bathroom. He looked at me and said, "Have you ever noticed your ankles swelling during the day?" I nodded. "Then try this. Elevate your legs before bed. It might just change everything." At first, I didn't understand the connection. What did my legs have to do with my bladder? But when he explained it, it all made sense. During the day, gravity pulls fluid down to your legs and feet. If you spend a lot of time sitting or standing, that fluid builds up, even if you don't notice it. Then, when you finally lie down to sleep, your body starts redistributing that fluid, moving it back into circulation. And where does it go? Straight to your kidneys, which means your bladder fills up just when you're trying to rest. But there's a simple fix. Get ahead of the process before bedtime. Here's what worked for me. Prop up your legs in the evening. About 1 to 2 hours before bed, lie down and elevate your legs on a pillow or rest them against the wall for 15 to 30 minutes. This helps your body reabsorb and process the fluid before you sleep, reducing the amount that reaches your bladder overnight. Try gentle leg movements, flexing your ankles, stretching your calves, or even a light foot massage can help improve circulation and prevent fluid buildup. Wear compression socks if needed. If your legs tend to swell during the day, wearing light compression socks can help reduce fluid accumulation, meaning less nighttime urination. I'll admit I was skeptical at first, but after just a few nights of propping up my legs before bed, I noticed a huge difference. I wasn't waking up nearly as much, and my sleep was deeper and more refreshing than it had been in years. So, if you find yourself making too many bathroom trips at night, pay attention to your legs. Try elevating them in the evening and see if it helps. It's such a simple trick, but for me, it made all the difference. Solution 8. Train your brain for better sleep. One night, I woke up at 3 a.m., feeling that familiar urge to go. I sighed, got out of bed and shuffled my way to the bathroom. But here's the strange part. When I got there, I barely had to go at all. That's when it hit me. Maybe my body wasn't waking me up because I needed to go. Maybe it was just a habit. The more I thought about it, the more it made sense. I had trained my brain over years of waking up and going straight to the bathroom to expect a trip every night, even when my bladder wasn't truly full. And the moment I realized that, I decided to retrain it. See, our bodies thrive on patterns. The more we repeat a behavior, the stronger the habit becomes. But the good news, habits can be broken. And when I started resisting the urge unless it was truly urgent, my body slowly began to adjust. Here's how I did it, and how you can too. Step 1. Recognize false urges. When you wake up at night, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is my bladder really full, or is this just habit? If it's not an urgent need, try staying in bed. Step 2. Distract your mind. If the urge isn't strong, shift your focus. Take slow, deep breaths. Count backward from 100. Visualize a peaceful scene. Often, you'll find the urge fades and you fall back asleep. Step 3. Stretch the time gradually. If you normally wake up at 3 a.m., try delaying your trip to 3:10, then 3:20. Over time, your body adapts and the urges become less frequent. At first, it was tough, My body expected to wake up and go, but I stuck with it, and after a few weeks, something incredible happened. I started sleeping longer. My mind had learned that not every nighttime urge needed a response, and for the first time in years, I felt truly rested in the morning. So, if you're waking up out of habit rather than true need, try training your brain for better sleep. It takes patience, but trust me, your body can adjust. And when it does, you'll finally enjoy the deep, uninterrupted rest you've been missing. So here's the truth. Nighttime trips to the bathroom don't have to rule your life. You don't have to accept them as just part of getting older. Small changes, practiced consistently, can make all the difference. I know because I've lived it. I remember the frustration of waking up exhausted, the annoyance of dragging myself out of bed over and over again. But once I started making these small adjustments, just one at a time, my nights changed, my energy improved, and I finally felt like I was in control again. Now you have a choice. Will you let this problem continue? Will you keep waking up night after night, feeling drained before the day even begins? Or will you take control, starting tonight? Try just one of these tips and see what happens. Maybe it's as simple as cutting back on fluids at the right time. Maybe it's training your bladder to hold just a little longer. Whatever it is, take that first step. And if this helped, I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, which tip are you going to try first? Your experience might just help someone else who's struggling with the same thing. And one more thing. If you're serious about aging better, not just older, then join us on this journey. Hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who needs it, and let's rewrite the story of aging together.